Hey, we're going to do a little bit of ClaudeGordon my way, and not taking away from ClaudeGordon at all. You know, I actually did the systematic approach a long, long time ago, right out of high school. I did it actually 2 years worth, so that's like 2 times all the way around. And it worked. It actually did work. There's a couple of negatives with the ClaudeGordon system. Number one, it takes 52 weeks to find out if it's going to work. If you follow his system, he doesn't believe in trying it out for 10 weeks or trying it out for half a year. He actually wants you to do the whole system for 52 weeks. So in my opinion, that's kind of a negative. You have to wait a whole year before you're done. The second thing is it does tend to be very tedious and very boring. Lots of long tones and pedal tones. And although Claude tried to make these not so boring by the formatting that he did with different patterns, it's still rather tedious and rather boring. But yet it still works. He's still right. You still have to do long tones. You can't really shortcut that one out. So anyway, I did make some decent gains after 2 years of doing it, but that was about all I could do. And after that, I incorporated bits and pieces of the ClaudeGordon for myself. And I don't know, maybe it was about 10 years ago I was playing around with it, and I was trying to figure out how could I actually take his method, kind of make it my own in a way. I mean, after all, arpeggios, he's not the first one that came up with arpeggios ascending, right? And I don't know if he's the first one that came up with pedal tones, but I wanted just to tweak his method into my own, but the only reason I would want to do that would be if people could get better results, if I could get better results and quicker results. Otherwise, what would be the point? So anyway, after playing around with it for many years, I came up with a system of, I guess you could call it ClaudeGordon. It has the essence of ClaudeGordon. It's not really his actual method. In other words, if you talk to a current ClaudeGordon disciple right now that's very devoted to ClaudeGordon method and everything, and maybe even studied with him, they would probably look at my method and say, hey, that doesn't really seem anything at all like ClaudeGordon. And they might be right, but it does have the essence of ClaudeGordon in this particular technique. Some of the things that I've changed. Number one, I've tried to make this very, very intense, and as a result, instead of doing this every day as Claude would have you do, I have you do it every other day. In some cases, I have you do this particular technique every 2 days, or sometimes even only twice a week. Have you ever been to the gym? Have you ever been in any kind of exercise program and missed a couple days and got back in thinking you weren't going to do that well, but you ended up being stronger, having better endurance? Yes, I figured that out myself too. And so by taking ClaudeGordon, making it more intense, but backing off on the daily practice of it, which he probably wouldn't like to hear, but believe it or not, you actually get quicker gains and higher gains. So that would be one. What's this intensity that I'm talking about? Claude, in most of his, I think in all of it actually, especially the ones where you're ascending higher, he would, at the very bottom of that, he would say, and it was kind of funny too, because it would go up to double C, and he would say, go as high as possible, which for most trumpet players should be very laughable, because most trumpet players are not going that high anyway. But what he would say is, continue up as high as possible, and then make a couple of attempts at that last hideout, and then rest at least an hour. Okay, so basically if you have, let's say, a high C range, you get up to high C, and you can't go any further, maybe you're trying to hit the D flat a couple times in a row, well, following the systematic approach, you would actually stop then and rest an hour, then he's got other things for you to do. So that's one thing that I've actually changed in this particular one. The other thing is that almost all his stuff, ascending throughout the 52-week systematic approach, when you start the ascending patterns, whether they're arpeggios or whatnot, he almost always has you start on the pedal C. Now I have another extremely wonderful technique for pedal tones. So, not needing to be redundant, I've cut out starting on pedal C, and so we just start on low C. So you cut out that whole octave. Don't worry, at least in my other programs, especially the upper register program, we have a very thorough and a very potent approach to pedal tones. And anyway, those are 2 ways. Actually, that's 3 ways now. So we're making it more intense because we're not stopping at the note that you can no longer get.